record this. Hi, everyone. It is our TNT night, and we're going to talk tonight about commenting MVP parties. And we can just talk about virtual parties in general. We're all in different spots, I think, when it comes to virtual parties, and I think we can all learn from each other. Billy Joe, you're pretty much all virtual, aren't you?
That tends to be what everybody's leaning towards when I book parties, yes.
Okay. And Scarlett, you are too, right? Because you're
I am. I'm virtual right now, and hopefully when I get my products back after moving, I can do a few home shows.
Okay. All right. And it's funny because, and I hope that you'll be able to join us on our next workshop at 8:50. Because what's happening, what we're finding, is that so many of the people the teams that are really exploding in Pampered Chef right now are really virtual. And what I'm trying to really latch on to exactly what they're doing and how they're doing it so that I can share it with you. And so I saw some training on Marta Ross's page that I'm going to share too. And because I'm going to tell you that a lot of times when we first started with virtual parties a few years ago, we thought we just needed to post a bunch of stuff, but there's more to it than that, isn't there?
Yes.
What do you think there is?
Yeah. What has been your experience? What do you think is really important with virtual parties? What
interaction with the guest.
With the guest?
And host.
And the host, right? And it's helpful if the host is really present, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. And it's really funny, and I want you to see a correlation with this. For those of you who might be listening, watching this as a video, there's really a correlation between the live parties and virtual parties. And I think that it helps you understand because, for instance, I could go watch somebody's party and I might try to do what they do, but it doesn't work like it does for them. And sometimes people try things and they think, well, it doesn't work for me. But what happens is I might go watch somebody's live party, but I didn't see how they host coached. I didn't see how they talked to the host in the background. I didn't, I didn't know what they did to maybe get outside orders. And that is so true with our virtual parties as well. We're not sure how people, talk and when they private message and at what point. So I'd like to have your experience a little bit and find out, how do you boost interaction in your parties? Who wants to go first? Any ideas?
Well, I just started using two different consultants' outlines that they had shared. One of them's Stevens and one of them's Stacy's. So.
Okay, so you've really paid attention. Did you get that on the JoePack page?
Oh, I don't remember whether it was JoePack or Kimmel, but one or the other.
Oh, okay. All right.
Both.
Good. And so what specifically, what have you tried from that that find has been helpful, Billy Joe?
I've created now, I never used to do it, but a group host message where all my hosts are in a group and I'm putting it all in there. And I don't have any other words to say, but maybe it puts a little bit more pressure on each host to know that I have others that are doing what I'm telling them to do. So. Okay.
And you said you have 3 going on this week at the same time?
Yeah.
All right. And do you use a posting service?
I do.
Which one do you use? You use SendShare. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Scarlett, well, how about what has been your experience with any of that?
Well, I'm having a hard time because I think that I'm not getting enough guests. They're not getting enough guests to the Facebook.
Okay.
It seems like most of the people that I've been dealing with, they're emailing or not a lot of them are on Facebook. So I might have 3 or 4. So my posts are great and I keep posting, but nobody really reacts.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And maybe what we're going to talk about in a few minutes, but we'll help you with that too. What can we do to boost our invitations on our virtual parties? How can we get more people attending?
Well, again, I think that goes along with our host coaching. If you're sending them the messages of different things to post to their parties, or text, call, email, or message. Yes, my bird's all over the place. That has helped me since I've started implementing those two different outlines.
Okay. Which one do you tend to use more, the Stacy one or the Stephen one?
The Stephen one.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, I know that if you have a task of the day for your host, and Billy Joe, have you found one task that seems to help your host invite people more?
No, I guess not, because having, like I said, the 3 parties going this week, and I had 3 parties last week. It all really depends on that host. You know, I can put all that stuff out there, but whether or not they use it, even no matter how simple I make it for them, you know, a quick copy and paste kind of a deal.
You know, I'm going to call up what I've been using, and I'm finding that it really helps. And what I do, I've only been doing one a week. I have one last week, and I have one going this week. And you know, again, I'm going to encourage you, if you need an extra, and if you need an extra party, I am offering the mega party. Did you notice that I posted on Joe Pack? Scarlett,
No,
did that make sense what I posted?
I don't think I saw that one.
Okay, what I'm doing is I'm offering a mega party where I set up a whole group for you to invite your guests to, and what I'll do is I'm going to post. I'm going to post every day, and today up till Thursday we can invite people, and then Friday I'll start posting over the weekend, and I'll do some. It's a benefit for the Hope Lodge. And so what you're going to do is you're going to set up your own party, and you're going to deal with your people offline, but you're going to invite them to the mega party, and I'll be doing all the posting. And I'll be giving you, I also have a mega party support group, kind of like Billy Joe was just talking about for her hosts, where I'll be giving you tips of things to do to engage your guests and your hosts. So basically you're inviting them to this big party, and I'm going to be doing all the posting. And then you're going to be working with them in the background, people that comment, people that like, people that, you know, are engaged. And you're going to be sending them to your website personally by giving them the link to your website. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll tag you in that, Scarlett, so that you can see what that's all about. That might be helpful for you. And it's also a great way for you to, you know, have a party that, you know, you don't have to do too much with, except just pay a little bit of attention.
Okay.
So with that, I'm going to go into my, I actually use Evernote. I don't know if you've ever heard of Evernote, and I save all of my posts and everything in Evernote. So one of the first things I tell my hosts, have you noticed that a post that says, if you like Pampered Chef, pick a number between 1 and 20? Okay, so I ask them to post that on their wall. And then when they do that, I tell them, post this on your wall. And then when somebody posts with a number, then she needs to text them personally, you know, personal message them and say, I'm so glad you like Pampered Chef. I'm having a party right now, and this is the link. And when you go there, accept the invitation. And when you go there, post your number, and my consultant, Karen, will give you that many tickets. So whatever number they picked, I'm going to give them that many extra raffle tickets for getting into the party. Does that make sense?
I like that.
Yeah. So I really like it because it pulls out people she may not have thought to invite. So that's that's day number 1 for me. Then the next day, I tell them, I tell them right at the beginning of the party that I'm so excited for your Pampered Chef party to begin this week. Thank you so much for being a host. And this is probably a combination of Stephen and Stacy. I will have a tip or a task for you each day. And personally, and this is a decision you need to make, if they do all of the tips, and I've had a couple hosts do all of the tips, so to me it's worth it, I will add a $25 item to your host order as my thank you. Now, again, you're getting their discount off of that $25 order. And again, the host being engaged is probably the biggest indicator of the success of that party. Would you agree with me there?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's worth it, to give her a $25 product for doing all of the tips. In fact, it's funny because I have a host right now that I'm working with. She's actually done more. She's actually taken some of, I posted about bacon, and I guess she loves bacon. So she shared it onto her personal wall. So she's definitely going to get the $25 from me. The other thing I do is I tell them that when they have 3 bookings from their party, I will give them a $50 item at the 3rd booking. So again, $50, divided by 3, times the discount, 25 to 30%, it's worth it, to spend, $10 for each booking. So that's something else that I will do. Have you considered any of that, Billy Joe? Have you done any of that?
I think I did something similar a while ago, but I kind of dropped it.
Okay. Which is okay. I mean, you might decide not to do it for some reason, which is fine too. But, a lot of times, again, if they don't jump through the hoop, they don't get the prize. And that's what's really kind of nice about it.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, so again, if you come up with a task, and again, quite frankly, right now I'm working really hard on, now Scarlett, do you use a posting service?
I do. I use Share because
You
you
use
had mentioned
Share
that.
too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what I want to do is I want to come up with a template that will help you, and then some ideas that we can
Great.
share, but I also find that the virtual party, there's 2 virtual party Facebook groups for Pampered Chef. Are you both familiar with those?
I know one.
There's 2 of them. One is Virtual Party Success and one is Virtual Parties. I'm going to make a note here to make sure that you're in both of those. Are you in both of those, Billy Joe? Do you know?
Yes, I am.
Okay. That I find really helpful for photos and that kind of thing. You can go to that, and of course you could read down in the discussion, but if you go right to the photos, that's very helpful. One of the things I'm also trying to do with in Joe Pack is to develop albums like engagement posts. Engagement posts are huge, and so a collection of engagement posts. So that now again, have you listened to the Cami Cruz audio? It's a 30-minute audio.
I don't think I've heard that one yet. No.
Okay. How about you, Billy Joe? Have you heard that?
I don't remember. Every time you share one, I try and go watch it, and the names all blur.
Well, this is an audio. And why this one is so good, you guys, is first of all, there's a few things you need to know. She went from an advanced director to an executive director very quickly. She earned the Hawaii trip 3 times over at the elite level. So to earn the Hawaii trip at the elite level, you needed 150,000 points. She did 450,000 points. And she's got 5 children, all like under the age of 6 or 7.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
That's her.
So what had happened was, and I, and you can listen to the story because it really is phenomenal. And why it's important and why I share these stories with you is because it inspires you to know that if she can do it, I mean, it's not to say, yeah, Cami, you're terrific, but if she can do it, so can you do it. And that's what I'm really excited to hear more about with Love. Love and I have been friends for a long time, and she's really blossoming, and if she can do it, I can do it. So, and so that's where I want you to feel like if they can do it, you can do it, depending on, what you want from your Pampered Chef, your business. The other thing that was so good about the Cami Cruz talk is that she only works on her parties a couple hours at night. And she runs 10 parties at a time. She does not sit there and, eat and drink them. She goes through and, quickly scans and makes a comment or whatever. But she gives you permission to say, you know what? Just check in a time or two a day. And I think that when you share with your host too, that they don't have to sit on it. They just, need to, go in and comment and just be present a couple of times a day. But doesn't that make you feel like freer to know that you don't have to live, eat, and drink it?
Yes. Now, where can we find that audio?
I will tag you on it. But again, if you just go into JoePak and do a search on Cami, you should be able to find it. But it's an audio, that you can play while you're doing something else. A lot of times that's what I'll do is I'll listen to it, see if I got tips, and I'm going to go, oh yeah, I'm going to go back and I'm going to listen to that in detail, Also, the Susan Bolton videos have been really terrific. And again, under JoePak, we're creating the learning, there's learning modules under the JoePak. And if you go there under units, right now it's a little bit disorganized, but eventually I will have that spiffed up so that you're going to be able, my goal, if any of you would like to build a team, what I want to do is I want to build a system so that we all are doing everything the same, not because I want to be dictatorial, but because if we have a system, it makes it easy for you and it makes it easy for them. And so, we can help them be successful by helping them with templates and helping them with, doing their first launch party. So with that, and I probably should ask before I start sharing some of the things that I'm going to share with you from Marna. Do either of you have anyone you're working with this month for the summer launch kit? Aren't you excited about that summer launch kit?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody that you're working with?
No, I have somebody that I keep sharing it with. She keeps telling me she's interested, but it never seems to be the right time. Okay.
All right. Yeah. And sometimes they get on the fence and it's hard to get them off.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really going to encourage you. In fact, I'm going to do a video tomorrow. I'm going to do a live tomorrow night. And I would encourage you to do this too if you would like to, work on some leads. It's great practice. Go live. Do both of you have the quick cooker? I'm not sure, Scarlett, with your moving, if you've got the quick cooker.
I don't know.
Okay. But I'm going to go live with the quick cooker, and I'm going to use all of the items that it takes for that salsa chicken, because that's exactly what the launch kit was geared towards. And I'm going to go make salsa chicken and tell everybody about the kit. And, and then, and you could even do another demo, but still talk about the kit and talk about, what comes in it, because, that you get all of that for $109, right?
Yeah. Right.
And the quick cooker's $240. Yeah, and then when they do $12.50 in their first 30 days, they get that rebate of half back. So they're getting all that stuff for $54.50. So right. It really is a great benefit. And if we don't tell them, they don't know. So I would encourage you to go live on that. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about commenting. Again, I think personally, just like the art of conversation can sometimes be difficult for some people. Have you found that? Whenever I think about having a conversation, like sometimes one of the most awkward times for me is sitting next to somebody on the plane. And maybe a conversation starts, maybe it doesn't, right? And I always have to work at that. I had to work at, just making idle conversation with strangers. And to me, it kind of goes with the Frank's list: friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, and kids. And so you can talk with people. They always want to talk about their family. They always want to talk about them. So you can always start talking with somebody about their family. But again, as awkward and as hard as sometimes that can be in the real world, it's true as well in the virtual world. Would you agree with me there?
Mm-hmm.
And in some ways,
Yeah.
in some ways I think it's a little bit harder. But personal messaging is important. Now, one of the first things, of course, you need to find out when you have leads. What would be one of the first things you need to find out when you have leads?
How it would help them.
How it would help them? How about how to communicate with them?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Whether it's text message or
text message. And again, I think our hosts sometimes need to understand too. Excuse me, Winston, stop. Our hosts need to know that, because if we tell them to personal message, email, make a phone call, text message, they might feel that they're being pushy, right? But the thing is everybody communicates differently.
Right.
And if we miss one of those bases with Billy Joe, who likes to text, we would miss you. And so I think we have to have that conversation with our hosts, that the people communicate differently. And of course, and then knowing how your host wants to communicate. I know that I've been working a farmer's market, and I ask people, like this person, text me. So I'm texting her and I'm letting her know about the new kit. Anyway, I'm going to share this screen. And okay, and the reason I talked a little bit about the art of conversation is because many of you have heard of my friend Marta Ross, right?
Yeah.
I have been to one of her live parties, and I have watched her. She works in mid-Michigan, which is can be very depressed. And so when Marta is a top seller and she works in an area that's depressed, to me, that's a gift. And yeah, and so, but I have watched her go into a house where the house was probably not worth what my car was worth. And she walks out with 4 recruits, and $400 worth of sales, which is quite a feat. And I'm going to tell you, and I watched her do this live, and she's also showing us how to do it in a virtual party. So what she did here, can you see it start the conversation?
Yeah.
Okay. What she did with her team is she started talking about this engagement pose, start the conversation. You can't see the whole thing, but what's something you have in your fridge that you think no one else has? Okay. And can you see how that would perpetuate, that would start some comments. So one of her consultants would say, pickled jalapenos. So what Marta might say, again, to one of her guests, she would start a conversation. And just like you're talking with someone at the party. Yeah. So I'm not sure, have you taken your conversations to this level in your parties?
Probably not to that extent, no.
Okay. Do you think that might, again, we're trying to develop relationships, right, and build friends?
Right.
So here she talks about, pickled jalapenos. How the heck do you eat those things? What do you put them on? We love making nachos. Gonna try them. My grandson eats them on everything. Can you imagine that? And then yum. So, so now what happens is, at the end of the party, she might say to Candace, private message, you've been a rock star. And I think you might have seen something like that, Billy Joe in Stacy and Stevens. They talk about identifying people who are the rock stars and then private messaging them. And so again, when you're warming up that relationship a little bit, it's not such a big deal when you private message them. 60 jars of homemade baby food. Wow, that's amazing. Your baby's lucky mine got Gerber's. What kind does your baby love the most? So what she's doing here is she's perpetuating the conversation by asking a question.
Right.
And also it gives other people the opportunity to chime in. which is really important. And this is kind of cute with numbers 2, 3. My first one did 2. With numbers 2, 3, and 4, it just got easier and cheaper to puree what we were already eating. All right. And she gets the Mother of the Year award. Do you have boys or girls? So again, she's perpetuating the conversation. Venison sausage. Thanks for commenting. You know, and again, I think that's really important. And I you know, I always wish I want to talk about this on Joe Pack. You know, get on there, comment, say things, perpetuate the conversation. Let's share things, and of course, it makes our group more fun, and just like it makes our parties more fun. And here's an interesting one: teeth whitening kit. That's got to be one of the strangest. That whoever thought about putting the teeth whitening kit in the refrigerator. But really, I mean, here's one that's breast milk. That's definitely not something I have in my refrigerator, which is true for me too. So again, Marta talks about when you're starting to see how when you respond, you're making a connection with that person, just like you would at a cooking party. It helps you build rapport with guests so that when you message them later about hosting, you've built something to start with. So, and it really does make the virtual parties more fun, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. I know I've had one this past week that I'm trying to think some of the, I mean, they were just, bacon, you know, she wants bacon on everything. And you know, so I'm always kidding, you know. So anything else that you would add to commenting? What else do you think is helpful with your virtual parties in terms of building the relationship and making the party more fun? I think that sometimes we look to the host. Well, the host is important, but we want the guests to make it more fun when it's really kind of up to us, right? Mm-hmm. We have to take the initiative there. And, of course, try to find scintillating posts, if you will. Right. You know, don't be afraid to show a mistake in the kitchen. Take a picture or go live. Do you go live in your parties, Billy Joe?
No.
Okay. How about you, Scarlett?
I haven't yet. I planned on it, but I haven't yet.
Well, I'm really going to encourage you to do that. First of all, because then your personality is going to come through. Number one, mm-hmm. They're going to get. I got to tell you a story. You might have seen on my Facebook page that I posted that Kelly Painter, who lives in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, she was down in Traverse City, and she came into my cafe, and she walked in. And she goes, "I would have recognized that voice anywhere." You know.
Oh, that's funny.
You know, it was really funny, and we never met before, and it was so nice of her to stop in. But again, you know, this is what makes it all so cool. So, you know, don't feel like you have to be perfect, and I know that's so hard to fight. I do try to make that part of my kitchen a little less cluttered, you know, but, you know, it doesn't have to be, you know, Martha Stewart quality. It can be fun. It can be just let your personality show through, because especially when you're starting with just friends and family, you know, they know you, they love you, and they know your personality. So I'm going to ask you, could I challenge you to go live on your Facebook page in the next couple of days?
Okay.
You're going to tag me?
Sure.
Okay. All right. How about you, Scarlett? What do you think? Are you game?
Possibly. I don't have any stuff out. I don't have my own kitchen yet. I'm still at my parents' house. So.
Okay. Do you have any of your products with you?
I do have some that I have to dig out of the garage that I had here last year. So.
Okay. What do you think you have?
Well, I know I have a few pans. I've got little products. I have quite a few. I just have to dig them out.
Okay. Any stoneware?
I do. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, even it doesn't have to even be, you know, it could be 2 minutes, 5 minutes. It does not have to be, you know. Okay, so tell me, do you still need sales for May?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, again, I'm going to encourage you to. What I love about virtual parties is I could call somebody and they say, "Want to have a party? We could start it tomorrow." Again, I mentioned that really working on developing systems where we have new consultants start. We'll start a launch party right now, and then by next Friday, set them up for a virtual party to run Sunday to Saturday. Again, just to keep that routine going. Because I know that sometimes, I don't know if you fall into this, but you might have, parties going and you're doing different, it's so much easier when you're posting the same thing on the parties every day.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Do
Yep.
you do that, Billy Joe?
Yes.
Good. You're smart. You guys are smart. Yeah. But I can't tell you that there are, and if any of you are like that, that's okay. You're going to learn. That you can do them, and that's, of course, that's what's nice with SynShare too. I think it makes it really nice. What I was going to say, okay, so I'm really going to encourage you to participate with the mega party. Again, we learn together, and you can see how we comment, and you can see what kind of posts we have. We'll be doing. You might want to. I don't know. Do you have a VIP page? Do you have a VIP page?
I have a Facebook page for my business, yes.
Okay, so a place where you might, like I have my Facebook page, but I put my groupies in another place called Karen's Crazy Kitchen. And then,
Billy Joy's Pamper Shop page, yeah.
Okay, and then, go in and post recipes or just, like any kitchen tip you might see, or any tip, it could be, how to get rid of weeds in your backyard. Look, I have weeds in my backyard. My courtyard there. It's still I think 45 degrees here, so anyway, but I would really encourage you that again. That's what's really nice about a virtual party is that again, while we do try to get into a routine, you can start one tomorrow and you still have time, and we've got 10 more days this month. And so you could do a couple, and there are people that do 1 hour virtual parties. I don't know if you noticed. I think it's Chris Martin does, or Kim Martin that does a 1 hour. You could say in 2 nights. I'm going to do a virtual party in 2 nights and just do a demo. Just do a demo. So, how does that sound?
Sounds fun.
Okay. All right. Well, we're about at the end of our time here. Anything else you'd like to talk about while we're all together? I don't know what happened to Jenny. Maybe the dog ran off with her. I don't know.
You talked about the hints to give the hosts each day. Do you have a template of that?
Actually, the best thing is in the Joe Pack group under files, you're going to find Host Coaching 101 by Stacy Itzel.
Okay.
And but yeah, I definitely will be putting that together. I'm trying to come up with what I feel needs to happen every day for 7 days myself. And right now I'm kind of playing around with it, and I'm not for me personally to pass it on. I'm not 100% sure that that's what I like, but we're going to work on that. We can do it, and I'd love any of your input that you think. But I do like the heart one for sure. Another thing is, tell them to get on and talk about their favorite product. Tell them to get on and then have them do a live. Get them just going for 2 minutes and talk about your favorite product live.
Okay.
I think I'm going to do that with one of my hosts for sure this week.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Experiment between the three of them.
There you go. And again, if you're using your host coaching group, and Scarlett, you understand what she means by that, right? She creates a special group just for her host that she has going on this week.
Yes, I understand that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since I have one
message.
Yeah. You just do one message, and they all, so that it keeps them all engaged, and a little healthy competition.
Oh, that's good. Yep.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, I hope that you'll join us in about 10 minutes with Love Carpenter again, who is an executive director, and she is, like this month, she's made her first month of senior executive and national all in the same month. And her team has just exploded. So I'm really excited she's in my mastermind group, and she has agreed to join us. And of course, I'll be recording it for those that can't make it. But I hope to join us.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks, Karen.
Okay, thanks a lot, you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye for
See
now.
ya. Thank